Good morning and a happy Friday to everybody. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence. We're going to go through our word of the day. We're going to look at where the big money is flowing. We're going to have a little education and then show what we're doing and why we're doing it. And then that will be our Friday show. Let's get to it. Here is our word of the day. Our word of the day is descant. Descant is our word of the day. And descant is an independent treble melody, usually sung or played above a basic melody. Literary, a melodious song, or a discourse on a theme or subject. Mary was selected to sing the soprano descant during the choir concert finale. So that's our word of the day, descant. And let's go to our heat map. Yesterday was kind of an ugly reversal day on the markets. There was a lot of selling. Was up in the morning and down in the afternoon. That's a kind of a bearish signal. We got a little bit of a bounce so far, but remember, it's not how we open, it's how we close. And this is all the tech seems to rebounding. NVIDIA continues to shine. The other semiconductors are doing well. Financials look like they're doing okay. Energy is up. Pharmaceutical healthcare seems to be up. Amazon and Tesla. Tesla is rebounding. So that's the story there. Remember of the pending recession that everybody is talking about. If you're nervous about your 401k, if you've spent a lifetime building up your assets and don't want it to turn into 2008 when everything went down 54%, this is a good option. You never lose money. It goes up the stairs, up the stairs, and up the stairs. And as you've seen, this is index investing, bobs and weaves with the market. This actually beats index investing by about 5%. And currently, companies are paying between 25 and 40% bonuses. If you want to learn more about that, please contact me. So let's go over to the indexes. See what is happening. Here we go. Here is Arrow Environment. It's bouncing. This is a little cup formation it did not handle out. A cup formation broke out, and it's been bobbing and weaving and keep moving up. A lot of things in the aerospace and defense seem to be moving well. I'll look at more of this in the future, but let's first go to our dollar index. Our dollar index had moved up yesterday with the bond issues, and it is moving a little slower. It's got a pullback. See, it moved above the 200-day, and now it's pulling back today, down 0.31%. Silver pulled back yesterday to the 10-day moving average, continued its pullback, and it's kind of settling in there. So we'll see if we get a bounce. Gold sliced through both of its 10 and 20-day moving average, getting close to the 50-day. Both of these move in the opposite reaction to what the dollar is doing normally. And here we got our copper miner, Canadian copper miner. It's bouncing, pulling back to the 20-day. See what our copper index is doing. It's pulling back to 20-day as well. We feel that with all this AI and the data centers are going to be using a lot of copper. So this is another reason that we're looking at this. Also being used in the production of batteries for EV cars. So there we go. Southern Copper. They got a little bit of a bounce. Tech. Haven't looked at tech for a little while. Pulled back below its 20-day and now is bouncing above the 20-day. Is up 1.39%. Freeport McMoran pulling back a little bit. BHP in Australia, Australian metals miner. And will it come up or does it need a little coaxing? And it is bouncing here. And finally, Rio. Rio got a little bit of a bounce off of their 10-day moving average. So on this other screen, I'm going to try to pull up Bitcoin and Ethereum are bouncing. Seems like Ethereum is going to be approved for an ETF, much like Bitcoin is. Had a big bounce. It's gone from 2,900 up to, I believe at one point it was at 3,800. So we'll just stop the share and share this other screen. Here we go. So this is Bitcoin. It did pull back. I believe at one point it got down to 66,903 last night, and it is bouncing today. It's kind of a risk-on asset, much like the stock market. And here is Ethereum. It is pulling back a little bit today. It is not getting a bounce. It was, I believe, as high as, yes, 38.19. But that was a pretty big move, almost 1,000-point move. We can go back 5 days and just kind of look at this big move as the wind about an ETF coming out really started to hit the market wave, so to speak. Let's go back to our charts. Take a look at the bond yields. Bond yields really affect what the small capitalization stocks do. They had a big bounce yesterday. They're right about where they were yesterday. So they're 4.48% on the bonds. Kind of looks like a cup with a handle formation here. We'll just see if that's going to bounce up or pull back. I know Federal Reserve officials are really nervous because they can't pull inflation down. So this one is pulling back slightly, 20-year yield. Take a look at the volatility index, and then this is correlated to the S&P 500. Fear or the VIX index. Had a huge bounce yesterday, and now it's pulling back. So the S&P, I would think, would be up. It is bouncing today, up 0.69%. This was definitely an outside day. What is an outside day? When it falls below where all the price was right here. So it is getting back, but it's still within the parameters of yesterday's move. So we'll just see how this continues to react over the coming week. Here is the equal weight on the S&P 500 when you take out the big cap tech stocks. We got a bounce here, got a gap up this morning, up 0.74%. It's pretty healthy that it is up more than the regular S&P 500. The NASDAQ, which has been a leading index, it's up over 1% today. We're going to stop our meeting for a second as we're back. Our screen had stopped working for a moment. But we are back. Here's the equal weight in the NASDAQ. It's up not as much as the regular NASDAQ. It's up 0.97%. Look at the small caps. Small caps are bouncing up a little over 1%. And the Dow Jones, which really got hit hard yesterday, got a very tiny bounce. It's not very encouraging. So there we go. We don't have any news for today, but we're going to look at some of the news from yesterday for yesterday's earning. First off is Elf Beauty. When it first announced its earnings after hours, it fell to $140. We had an option at 160 when it fell to 155. And I guess we could have bought in after hours, but we decided not to. But we have 5 call options that we're going to, as long as it stays above 160, it's going to buy us the stock in June. So earnings were up 53 cents versus 32 cents. They handily beat their estimates again. People were nervous because they said they think there's going to be a little bit of a slowdown in the rest of the year. But that is Elf Beauty. And then we go on to Live Nation. See, I'm not sure why this is not. I think they have the ticker symbol in this news article backwards. Shares dropped after hours after Bloomberg reported the U.S. Justice Department and a group of states will sue Live Nation Entertainment for antitrust violations to Ticketmaster's unrivaled control of concert ticket sales. So we had a huge drop yesterday. It's trying to fight back today. VF Corporation, which used to be here in Alameda, has moved to Denver. Q4 adjusted EPS loss 32 cents versus estimated profit at 1 cent. It's down yesterday, and it is down again today, 0.84%. Bloom Energy, which was surging a couple of days ago on their earnings, they were up 23%, kind of broke out here. They are doing a $250 million green convertible senior notes. On to DuPont. De Nemours announced plan to break apart into 3 publicly traded companies, joining a list of industrial conglomerates seeking to boost returns by splitting into smaller, more focused businesses. They're going to spin off electronics and water business, and their shares are up 2 days in a row. Yesterday was the highest volume in the base. Enersys, Q4 adjusted EPS $2.08 versus $2.01. What a gap up they had yesterday, pulling back slightly today. Rio Tinto faces class action suit over Bougainville mine impact. Mining at the Panguna copper pit ended in 1989 when militants forced the operations to shut down. So I'm not sure if this is why the pullback, it could possibly be. It is bouncing today. Triumph Group, Q4 adjusted EPS 31 cents versus estimate of 20 cents. And they actually fell quite a bit. I guess they were expecting a little bit more. Their earnings were down 3%. It's getting a little bit of a bounce today. Into financials, Chubb upgraded to neutral from underperform at Bank of America. They fell yesterday on that news, and they're up slightly today. Radian raises share repurchase authorization from 300 million to 900 million and approves regular quarterly dividend on common stock. They were down yesterday, but up today almost 2%. Raymond James Financial. April client assets under administration 1.41 trillion. Financial assets under management 219.1 billion, up 12% year over year. Got a little bounce today after declining 2 days prior. Toronto Dominion Bank beat analyst estimates on strong performance of its capital markets division. Company said a comprehensive overhaul is expected to be of its U.S. anti-money laundering program is well underway. So we're on to healthcare. Cytokinetics and Royal Pharma announced they have entered a strategic funding collaboration. And we did not get that pulled up. It gapped down yesterday and falling again today. And the Royalty Pharma is falling. We do, I believe, have this one in the news today. Maris, huge gap up. They had been testing neck and head cancer, and they had great results. So this really popped, and analysts have really updated their price target on that. We may look at that a little later. Moderna and Pfizer in talks with US on HSN1 bird flu vaccine. Look at this big move. So 115.99 was a breakout, and it just continues a lot of buying in this. All the blue bars, you can see a lot of financial managers buying into the stock. And PFE, look at Pfizer. Did gap up the other day, hit its 200-day and is retreated. And finally, Molina Healthcare says Wisconsin receives notice of intent to award a new Region 5 contract. I think it, I have the wrong ticker symbol. And it hasn't done much for the stock, let me tell you. It is down pretty drastically under all of its moving averages. Onto NVIDIA. 10-for-1 forward stock split effective June 7th. Q1 EPS $6.12 versus estimate of $5.59. They're also going to have a 1 cent per share dividend, which was quarterly dividend was raised 150%. So that is the story with NVIDIA. Snowflake, Q1 adjusted EPS 14 cents versus 19 cents. Estimate. Our program here is moving a little slow. It did pull back quite a bit on the earnings miss the other day, but it is bouncing today up a little over 2%. Synopsis, Q2 EPS $3 versus $3.05. You would think it would go down by missing its expectations, but it has gone up on that earnings of 26%. E plus Q4 non-GAAP EPS 93 cents on $554.5 million in sales. Live Ramp Holdings, Q4 EPS 25 cents versus 19 cents. Provides data onboarding and connectivity services, helping brands and marketers. The stock really gapped up and then just dived, and it is continuing its dive today below most of its moving averages. Zoara, Q1 EPS 11 cents versus 7 cents. Moved higher, very similar to Live Ramp. It is diving on after reporting. Earnings were up 120%. Had pretty good volume yesterday, but it had mostly selling, kind of like the rest of the market yesterday. And finally, Global Foundries in the semiconductor area files automatic ordinary shares offering for holders, announces launch of $950 million secondary offering of ordinary shares, including concurrent 200 million share repurchase, announced pricing of 950 million secondary offering at 50.75. Huge gap down yesterday on this news. So that is the story there. Let us now move on to where the big money is flowing today. What's up? 10% with 200% increase in volume. We got Guardant Health and pulled back here. Has been in a long downturn, and it is bouncing today up 11%. First Solar continues its move. Look at this gigantic move here, broke out here. You had an opportunity to buy it on the pullback here, and now it is almost at the profit zone where you should take at least part of your profits. Up 10% today. We looked at Maris earlier, gapped up, went right through the buy zone to the profit zone, up 36% today. That is just incredible. Deckers, which posted last night, their shoe category. I guess they're selling a lot of shoes. They also sell other luxury footwear, sandals. They have 164 stores internationally, and they hit the magic blue dot here. It shows that they are rising against the S&P 500 index. So that is our look there. So continuing on with Nicholas Darvis's book, How I Made $2 Million in the Market from the 1950s. He first looked at the tech technique of, see if we can draw this box here. He went through the technique of the box, and then he looked at the fundamentals. And during a bear market, he looked at companies that went down hardly at all compared to all the other companies that may have gone down maybe 20 to 80%. And those companies that went down the least, he followed as soon as the market or the recession had ended. Those were the companies that he would invest in. So this is our box. This is our box, oscillating box. As you can see, it's moving back and forth. 956.27 would be the buy point. It has just surged right out of that box. On earnings, up 43%. And you can look at other companies in its category are doing well as well. This is the Swiss company on holding. And this is Skechers. Big gap up in Skechers. So all the shoe categories are doing well right now. So I want to just take a look at what we're holding and what we're doing in our current account. We added to NVIDIA when it first announced its earnings. I believe it was at 9:40 after the hours. So we continue to hold that one. MicroStrategy is our biggest holdings. Looks like it's developing a cup with a handle here. We have a double bottom. On a double bottom, you buy the middle of the W. So when it gapped up here, this is where we bought. And we continue to hold here. We did get rid of a couple stocks a couple of days ago, and those were toast. Just didn't like the big downturn. This right here. So we got rid of that. I think it's still a good company. It's growing. Oh, we got rid of that. Got rid of app after it fell below 80. We did put on a call option. Well, at 80, I believe it was at 84 when it fell to 79. So we'll see if it gets to that area. Continue to hold Dutch Brothers Coffee. We bought on this move right here, continued up, had a little bit of a pullback to the 20-day moving average. This is based on bond yields, I believe. And we'll just continue to hold that. Always see a big line at all the Dutch Brother Coffee here in the Bay Area. Have a small position in that app. This is really a short-term buy, gapped up, pulled back here, and it is continuing to break out here. We looked at AVAV, took a couple of other companies, another family account that we have. We opened FTA Aviation right on this day right here, 75.78, continues to perform admirably. Howmet, we added in that same account, and it is bouncing. Weatherford, we had bought this originally at 65, and we had been continually selling short the call options. We sold the 125 right over here, and it expired a couple of days ago when it pulled back to 119. And now I believe we've sold the 135 on this one for July. Continuing on. Take a look at Lyft. We sold the $20 June options on this one. We'll just see it went up to 2082, it's pulled back, and we'll just see how this can do it. It just continues to beat earnings. So eventually, if it continues to beat earnings, I think this is going to go higher. RTX is a short-term trade. We originally had the options and we let some of the options convert at 100, and then we sold the $105 call option, which expires today, and it will convert those shares into cash, which we need to buy some of the options that we're looking to convert. So on to cellulose. This is a nice cup pattern. Got a lot of institutional ants buying right over here. Pull back a little bit. Now it's bouncing off of the 10-day moving average. It's pretty good action. We'll just wait and see if it bounces into the pivot. We may add some more there if we have cash available. APO. Bought this at 111. We bought it right over here, right around 111, 112, and it's up to 115. This is a company that we work with, so just wanted to have it in my portfolio. And look at number 4. Shift for payments. We just have the options on this one. Bought it at 62.50. It is in the money now. We'll just see if this can continue moving higher. This is in the same category as Toast and Square. They manage all the credit card payments for hotels. Crowd. We had a spread option. We closed 4 out of the 5 spreads and bought back the other options. So we have the $320 option. We can convert into shares when it's trading at 350. We like that kind of option. And then ELF, when it was at 55, we talked earlier, we bought the $60 options. And when it's at 194, we can convert those. We have 5 of those options looking to convert. Kava, Mediterranean Grill. It had pulled back from the 80, and now it's moved pretty strong above 80. So we continue to hold this in portfolio. Originally bought it at 31, took our profits right around here, got back, bought it 15 call options at 49, moved up here, and right about here we sold 500 of those shares that had converted from the 15 call options, and we still have about 1,000 shares of Kava. And that is a look at our portfolio. That is what we're doing. You need to find out what works for you. If we can help you with anything whatsoever, feel free to reach out to us. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. It's your responsibility to do your own due diligence to find out what's right for you. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you on the weekend update this weekend.